everybody to our Q&A with Spencer Wilding as part of our Wicked Wales International Youth Film Festival. Now, Spencer does not need any introduction, but I would like to introduce the rest of the panel. Firstly, Rob, who will be chairing the session. Rob is, they're all volunteers, they're all Wicked volunteers as part of the panel today. Rob programmes our cult cinema, which we screen here in Rhyl Little Theatre, which is the Wicked home. Chad programmes our horror films as part of the cult cinema. And then we have Sam and Kira and Harry will be here soon. These are our young volunteers. All our activities running the cinema and the festival, it's all run by young volunteers, so we couldn't do any of this without them. So Spencer, he's a local person, and I'm particularly pleased to have him here today because we know how much he does locally to support young people. He's a real champion for young people in the area, so it's great that he could come and join us today. Okay, Rob?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Basically, Spencer, so I'm going to start with, so basically it's a memory of mine. So it's 2005. I go to City World in Llandudno to watch Batman Begins.
Right.
So I'm watching it, loving it because it's Batman. It's been about, I don't know, maybe 7 years since I think Batman and Robin, so we were definitely in need of a new Batman.
Yeah.
I was watching it, we were into the final act of the movie. And basically when I was watching it, so towards the end you've got Rhyl Ghul, played by the great Liam Neeson. He comes into shot, into Wayne Manor, talking with Bruce Wayne. And I'm sat there watching it, my friends and I, just loving it, just baking in every bit of Gotham that we can. And basically in the background, there are some characters, and they are basically the Leagues of Shadow, who are the henchmen of Rhyl Ghul, played by Liam Neeson. And so I'm watching it, and then suddenly they start doing close-ups of like the henchmen in the background. And then they go to one person, I'm not too sure who the actor was at the time, and then suddenly they focus on you.
Yeah, so now, knows it?
No, not at all. And I had no, but at first I watched that and thought, hang on. I mean, I straight away knew it was you, but I thought, have I seen that? Have I just imagined it? So straight afterwards, I thought to myself, it's sort of like not put me off the film a little bit, but I sat there and thought, I cannot stop thinking now that you're in this movie, and it's a lad from Rhyl. I was living in Rhyl at the time, and I was just like completely gobsmacked because this is a massive Hollywood movie. So anyway, I found out eventually, did a bit of research when I came out of the cinema, thinking, right, I need to look into this, because I knew your name, because obviously I knew who you were because back in the day on the doors and things like that around Rhyl,
yeah,
clubs and bars. And I was just like fascinated. So really, straight away, I looked into it, and then I saw that you already worked on Harry Potter. So could you sort of tell us a little bit about how you got started in the industry?
Yeah, well, it starts from a dream, you know what I mean? From back in the day when I was a kid, I always wanted to be in the movies. I always had this feel I was going to be a movie star or a stuntman or something like that, you know? So, but how does a kid from Rhyl get into the films, you know? Especially a very dyslexic kid like myself, you know what I mean? It was sort of always in my head. So I went to a Schoolmeyer, and then the Catholic school in Rhyl, and then I went to Bestatyn High, and then I did some work on the building sites, and I went to a farming college. To come away from that, still in my head about this acting world, my thoughts, my God, what do you want to call them? This is a view, moving from different job to job to job to job to job. And then I went to Holland, Rotterdam. I was over there for a couple of years, from the age of 21, 22, 23, come back. And then I found the world of kickboxing.
Right.
So I was a Welsh British kickboxing champion. And then my mum said to me, she goes, Spen, go to Tony Scott Lee's in Rhyl. And Tony Scott Lee is Lisa Scott Lee's dad out of Steps. At the time, he had a photography shop in town. So I went there. She goes, go and have some pictures taken of the belts. Proud mum, son, Welsh and British champion. Right? So I had that done. Tony rings me up a couple of days later. He goes, hey Spen, your pictures are ready. I said, oh mate, I'll come in for you later on. And he goes, hey Spen, the pictures look great, have you ever thought about being in the movies?
Okay.
And then all of a sudden because I was deep into the kickboxing, so I thought, oh, this must be the entertainment thing then, So that movie thing sort of went away. Then all of a sudden it come flooding back to me, big light bulb went off in the head. And I went, carry on Tony, because I got a friend in London that knows somebody that got a sports agency that put athletes at the top of the game into adverts, TV, film. Do you mind if I send you a picture of? Because no, please do. instantly got a phone call, and they sort of verbally signed me up. They were called Sports Workshop, based in Crystal Palace. So, but they presumed I was sort of actor trained as such, you know. But I didn't know nothing about acting.
No.
But I just knew I was going to be in the acting world. And at the time, I was 32 years old. I couldn't read or write. I was very dyslexic, just the way my brain ticked. I was more physical than theory. That's why I just completely crashed in school, completely crashed in colleges, took no theory input in. I was just practical all the time. So we got these auditions, and I got auditioned to play in Snatch, Tommy in Snatch. But
wow.
that was one of the first auditions.
So you auditioned for Guy Ritchie? Or...
Well, they were all in the room at the audition, yeah.
Right, okay.
At 3 Mill Studios.
Wow,
right?
okay.
So, but this is a kid who got a phone call, right, you've got to be at 3 Mill Studios in London. I knew nothing about absolutely nothing.
No.
I just had a big smile on my face, man.
Yeah.
So I got off this train in London, Euston, you know, the first time I'd been into London. Got myself to 3 Mill Studios. I thought literally I was going to get off the train to trumpets and red carpets, you were in the movies, and it was like that was going through their very young mind at the time. So we got to 3 Mill Studios, got to the cafeteria there. One of the producers came up to me, said, "Spen, we love your look, you've got this role, you've got it, just do this, deliver your lines." And we're there, and I'm thinking, what are lines?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I got into the room, they passed me the script, the dialogue, the little scene, and it was just like passing me the devil's blood and asking me to gargle on it. Do you know what I mean? It was frightening stuff, words to me. I'd literally fight 10 guys. Sometimes I'd go to the bank, and I couldn't even fill my name in.
Right.
Yeah, it's just that sort of dyslexia that I had, or still got, but I deal with it better now. So I got in there, went upstairs, there's 10 guys on the table. I'm reading this like a 5-year-old would read Thomas the Tank Engine, Battle.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can sort of see the picture that I'm in right now. So they're all laughing and thinking, you know, there's a grown man in front of me, he's having a giggle. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the penny drop, realise this actor can't even read. You know what I mean? And he's in a room with his ear. Yeah. So I started to feel all the nerves, and they go, put the script down, self-prof. And I'm thinking, what do these words mean? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Then it was just like I was a frightened little kid in there then. Do you know what I mean? So I come out of there, one of the producers come out behind me and said, "Spen, we can see you've got a problem with reading though." Right. Said, "You've got a good face for what we want. We will see you again in the future." Yeah. In fact, I don't even know who that producer is now, but thank God for him, because he sort of kept it going for me a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I got myself some sight reading lessons, but still couldn't read, so it was just so far behind where they wanted me to be. So I was going for audition, then the phone call stopped. About 12 months later, I'm back in the fight, and I'm loving it. I'm thinking, you know what, I'll let that dream go. Literally, I'll let that dream go. So then I get a phone call off a friend, I forget who it was now, and said, "Listen, Spen, Radio 1 are looking for a really, really tall actor to play the werewolf in The Prisoner of Azkaban." Yeah. And back then, Harry Potter was, whoa, do you know what I mean? It was right in everybody's face. Are you still acting? I said, "Listen, man, I can't read, so I'm just going to stick the fight in." So no, Spen, they want to audition a really tall actor, but it's a closed audition, so they'll need an agency and a professional actor. I said, "All right, okay, I'll ring the agency, so they'll still pick up the phone to me as such." Yeah. So I rang them up, they picked up the phone, and I said, "Listen, am I still signing you guys?" "Oh yeah, we've just been very busy," all that palaver. It's been 12 months since I spoke to them. And I said, "Listen, Warner Brothers are looking for a really tall actor to play the werewolf in The Prisoner of Azkaban. They're auditioning at Leverson Studios, which is the Harry Potter world now." Right? I said, "Okay, can you get the audition?" So they go, "Okay, we'll get back to you." They rang me back excited within 2 minutes. "We've got the audition, you've got to be there in the morning." I just knew in a way, okay, this is how I'm going to get this role. You know what I mean? So I got to 3 Mill Studios. We had the first call, got there, smashed it. There was 30 guys in the room, right? Then we got a call back a week later. I'm thinking, what's a call back? Oh yeah, call back. It was literally like that. I was learning. So they called me back, got back to the audition, and there was only 15 people there. Thinking, wow, where's everybody going? Okay. You know what I mean? Then the following week, a third call back. There's 6 of us in this room, and 2 of us actually landed that role. Me and Marnix Vanderbroek, because Marnix a very, very tall ballet dancer from Holland. So 2 of us actually play that role. So we got that role. And then after that, I got Batman Begins. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Bale from Red, Dead Man's Guard, Aragon Stars, and each one like that.
Straight from the off, really, it was like you really did have a bit of a baptism of fire, because straight away you are literally like thrown into a franchise.
Yeah.
Because obviously Harry Potter, by the time Azkaban came out, it was the third film, and you were just, like I say, and then to go straight into, I think it was Batman Begins.
Straight up, yeah.
Again, another franchise is like, you know, it's the start of dreams, isn't it, really?
Yeah, of course, but I was just, like I said, I was a young lad in my head. I was just having a giggle.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking it really, really serious.
Yeah.
You know? I'm on set, we're all singing Happy Birthday to Daniel Radcliffe, me and Alan Rickman and a few of others.
Wow,
it's a moment, man.
fantastic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great memory. And then, you know, I'm giving kickboxing lessons and stuff.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
There'd be 4 Harry Potters, 3 doubles, and then Daniel May, and then 4 Armanis and 4 Rons. We're all in Shakhtar Studios playing football. You know, great memories, man. And it's just a great start. I was straight at the deep end, but I wasn't your average kid on the set. I'd come from no acting background, so you can probably see I was Spanish playing well, but he's kickboxing.
I suppose because obviously they already had films come into it, they already had 2 movies. I suppose people had made relationships on set, and then you're coming in fresh, basically. But again, like I say, if you can just fit in quite quickly, it makes it more simple.
Yeah, it's good. And I could straight away had a good relationship with the stunt team as well. Because I fight, I was fit, really tall. They say nobody moves like you, Sven. Your hand, nobody does. You're just a freak. You know what I mean? You know, so. But I thought I was a bit. I loved doing my stunt work. But I really wanted to do my acting work as well. And then obviously the acting world got hold of me more. But I've got a great relationship. I class them as my family, the stunt world, and they have faith and trust in me to do my own stunts. If not too specialised, so they let me get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Which is great.
Yeah. Sandra, do you want a question?
Yeah. So, linking on from Harry Potter as well, so when you finished production and you actually got to see it on screen for the first time, knowing all like your dyslexia, you struggled with it throughout the production of it, watching it, how did you feel watching it and seeing that final piece?
Well, yeah, it's good. I don't look at it as like I'm in that suit there. I watch it like everybody else is. I'm enjoying the character, I'm enjoying the, you know, I'm a Harry Potter fan. Not die hard, but I was in several Harry Potter, I was in 3 Harry Potter films, you know what I mean? I played Greyback and Death Eater in Harry Potter Wizards Unite as well, on the phone app. To watch the film there, it was awesome, you know, when we went to we were at the premiere as such, and the wrap party was at the Leeds Studios, huge firework displays, thousands of people there, you know what I mean? It was just, it was a moment. Yeah, it was great, and it felt like it was my family, and it felt like I'd been here before, you know, in past lives. That's why I had such a great passion to go back into the film, you know, for that pull to the film, you know what I mean? Always knew I was going to be a sort of an actor, as such.
Yeah, so knowing that, like, you had that connection, did you feel like you'd been in the industry for years before that, knowing that you was new?
Yeah, it just felt like home. It was another front room. It felt like my home. You know, it is very, you know, as we all know, it is very family orientated, the film world, you know. It's very close knit family. So, it felt like I was back home.
Yeah, so like linking back home, and you know, you went to Preston High. When you was at Preston High, what was your like ambitions and what was your passions into? So did you do more sports or did you do drama, and like how did you connect your hobby into acting within like your studies?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, see, I never did any acting training like that. Do you know what I mean? I just had a thought in my head, I could be an actor one day. It's like somebody said, hey, Span, you know what you're going to be in 20 years' time. You know what I mean? It's literally like that. Me in school, I come from a Rhyl school, I didn't know one person in Preston High, so I was battling most weeks, you know what I mean, trying to stay out of mischief, and I was a protector for the bullies. I didn't like bullies, so hence I'm patronising bullying now, so I'd go and get the bullies, you know what I mean, I was always a protector, but I was a pain in the arse for the teachers, I really was, because like I say, I had to get my attention other ways, because I couldn't read or write. I thought it was just thick, you know what I mean, but believe it or not, quite intelligent. Believe it or not. But yeah, like I say, I was a bit of a hard time for the teachers. I did have a little frame, my favourite teacher, D.L. Jones, he was cool. But again, it was all science and PE, that's what I loved. It's a bit more physical. So I liked a bit of science and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it all connected in one big thing and then ended up in a massive career that you had throughout your whole life.
Yeah, smart for it. Like everything I've done, every job out there, I've got a really big picture and there's little pieces to the picture, and I've had to pull this. But it's like life that's been my acting lesson, like my life. And they give me these jobs to pull this out of the airport. They were learning me. I didn't know that life was learning me. It's just the way it's worked for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because in the production world, it's all about what you get to yourself. So no matter what you do, it always develops more and more and more.
Yeah.
So like you started in Harry Potter, and then that developed more into. So you did the other 2 films after that in Harry Potter, or did you go into other films?
Well, I did Harry Potter 3. I double daggered in 5 for a couple of days. They wanted me to double the whole character, but I couldn't because I didn't want to get stuck on a doubling character contract, because I knew I'd lose on a lot of other stuff. You know what I mean? When I was doubling Hagrid, I was fighting for a British title in like 3 days' time. So I was on set. I wasn't on set. I was like tunnel vision. I've come in as a favour to help the guys out because the other guy, the big tall, forget his name now. What's his name now? He used to play for England. He used to be his main Hagrid's double. But anyway, he couldn't make it that day. So when you're 3 days away from a title fight, you're very tunnel visioned. Daniel was coming up to me. He talked to me, but I was not even there. I was going into this tunnel vision thing, so I was just there for reference, really, for Hagrid in the suit. And then I was playing one of the knights in Deathly Hallows Part 2 as well.
Yeah.
So that's the time. But I was doing other things in between as well.
Because you did like kickboxing and boxing and acting, if you had to choose a route that you would have like kept on instead of doing both of them, which one would you have envisioned yourself being?
I'm a great believer in fate. I wouldn't choose one. I'd let fate choose for me, and it did. You know, it's clearly it's put me in the boxing and kickboxing world to get me to a place. Maybe enhance my confidence, my movements, my fitness, ready for this world. You know, if I'd not gone to the film world, I'm sure I would have been very, very successful in the pro boxing world and pro kickboxing world. But who knows? But I'm a great believer in fate, so it is what it is.
Yeah, because you've been in this industry for 17 years?
Yes.
About 17 years. So, like, how has your journey developed? So, from the beginning of when you was new in Harry Potter to now, what's been your, like, the most memorable area that you've done out of those 17 years?
The whole thing's a picture, man.
Yeah, there's all everything.
Every single character, it's actually it's a blessing, man. You know, there's a million other actors who'd love to play these characters I play, more than a million. So I just thank my Lord upstairs every day, thanks to this path, and if the journey stops now, thanks very much, I've enjoyed myself. Do you know what I mean? I've lived a couple of dreams in one life, which is quite rare, you know. So every production, every character, there's a love for each one, and I've pulled and made friends out of each one. I hope that answers your question.
That's good, because it's all about like the whole company, like in film, it's all about being a family rather than just being like each little individual production line. So, you know, it's all about basically being all one big family and all one life on just the path. So, have you got any questions, Chad?
I do, yes. Hello, Spence.
Hi, Chad.
With your career, obviously, you predominantly started off with like stunt work and motion capture and costume roles. How did it feel when you started doing speaking roles? Because you got quite a large speaking role in Green Street 3.
That's right.
What was your nerves like? So obviously, like you said, you have dyslexia. So what was sort of like your thoughts?
Like I say, it's a time with me. It's like the film world are waiting for me.
Right.
I'm not waiting for them. It's when I can get to that place. Then there's other places I need to go as well.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I need to be action training more. I need to be reading more. But I've got a lot of things going on. So, I think Rhiannon's going to help me out, aren't you, Rhiannon?
Yes,
There we
absolutely.
go. We've had another
That's
chat.
woman for the job. If I
There
say
you
so
go.
myself.
Spencer, you become part of the Wicked team.
There you go. I will help you guys out, you help me. It's my back, I hit yours. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm developing nicely now. I'm always around the A-listers, and they know I'm not from any. It really does show I'm not from a drama, big posh drama school, and I've learned a different way. Life's been my trainer as such, but they accept me in. You know what I mean? They accept me in, they let me go. So it's great, and I do pick up little things here and there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your performance of speaking's always been very admirable.
Yeah, and I can play
very
around
well
with
in it.
Can play around with tones.
Yeah.
It's normally when the character invades me anyway, that's how the character
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Do you know
so
what I
it
mean?
comes to
You
you.
just like a Vader voice or a Wolfman or this or that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or Mason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all live in me and they go, but they leave me with a little bit, we'll leave you with that.
Yeah, it's still got part of them
Thanks very much.
inside, you know, no matter
You know
what
what I
kind
mean?
of thing.
Yeah, it's great. And it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
an amazing feeling. Yeah, it's great, man. It's amazing things what can happen with the body and your energies, how you can actually change into another soul as such.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's about a completely different person.
Yeah,
it's
it's
always
mad.
cool.
Great.
You just mentioned Wolfman, so I'll just take upon myself to ask this one. Obviously, you've worked with Rick Baker,
Yeah.
who is a legend in the makeup
course
industry.
he is, he's number one.
He pretty much is the reason they have a makeup
That's
Oscar now, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's won 7, including 1 for Wolfman.
Yeah, that was number 7 as well.
You were, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I was on my face.
Could you tell us about the process, like how long it took?
Yeah, well, because what it is, you'll go into workshops, have a live cast like that, because obviously there's going to be people working on your suit 24/7.
Right.
You know, there are people who do night shifts, day shifts. So obviously it costs too much to have that actor there 24/7. So you'll have your body cast, and then they'll mould onto your body cast, and then the sculptors will come in, and then that hence Mr. Rick Baker. But Mr. Rick Baker has his team, Dave and Elsie Lou. And there'll be a production of 40 in the creature department as well. I mean, and then there's wardrobe, and there's so much go into these big productions.
Right.
When they've got the big budgets, they can have it's a bigger playground, basically, like that, do you know what I mean? To work with Rick, you know, like I say, I didn't really know too much about Rick until I landed the role, and I was like, wow, do you know what I mean? I just want to
His tenure is ridiculous.
straight away, you know, when I'm talking to Rick, I'm holding popcorn and drinking Coca-Cola and having an ice cream. You know, he's done so much.
Yes.
He is a god in the industry. And I grew a relationship with Rick. You know, obviously in the film work, we might say hello once in a blue moon, a full moon. But I've been over to LA, and I was one of the very lucky ones who got to see his workshop. You know, and when I went to LA, I was we went there me and the family went for I've just finished on Ghost Rider 2, and one of the producers, Bennett, and some other the crew that were working in Romania together on Ghost Rider 2, and they said, listen, Jay Steph, big producer, he goes, listen, Spen, if you ever come to LA, look us up. I said, so 5 minutes later, I ring him up, say, hey Jay, how you doing, man? He goes, hey Spen, how you doing, man? Where are you, man? Because obviously the tone was in, mate, I'm in LA, mate. He goes, what are you doing in LA? I said, I'm coming to see you know. And he said, right, Ben. I said, what's your address or your zip code? He goes, right, it's Beverly Hills, 90210. I went, what? I thought that was just a program, do you know what I mean? Literally. So we got to Jay's place, it was unbelievable. You know, it's Joe Pesci's place as well. Do you know what I mean? So I was around some living legends, man. And then Rick knew I was there, so he said, just come over to the workshop. So we went into Rick's workshop. It's a huge warehouse, right? Yeah. You open up the door, and then there's a staircase going up with all the monkeys from Wizard of Oz. Then you open up another door, Mighty Joe Young, full size in the room. Then you look over there, Men in Black, and then you look over there. You know what? I went to the museums, I went to this, I went to that over there. That was the most impressive thing. Yeah. Incredible. You know, incredible. It was unbelievable. And I remember when we went to Universal Studios, you get the little train rides that take you around the park and all that. Their last thing on their video, because it shows all these Universal films, is me running along the rooftops of Greenwich Naval College, running through, jumping in the air, throwing a shape, full moon. And my little lad goes, Bobby goes, it's my dad eyes. And we're like, yes, I'm that. But that stuff is like nuts.
Yeah.
No, not the average person's head would fall off to you, man. Yeah. We're just like, damn, it's great, that it. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's a Wolfman.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
What made your confidence so up there, just so you can do all of this?
I'm not going to say I must have friends in high places, I don't know. But I just, you know, I've always been a confident kid. You know what I mean? And as boxers and kickboxers as well, we are very confident. Do you know what I mean? And I've had a very successful career as well with the boxing world. We never lost once. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. We are what we are. You know what I mean? And yeah, my brothers are makeup artists. My sisters are makeup artists. They kill me for saying that. My brother's a musician. He was in the Fall for years. My sister's a very famous makeup artist, you know, Zeta Jones, Will Smith and all them lot. My dad was a Neil Diamond specialist, you know what I mean? So we're all sort of, you know, in that entertainment world, you know what I mean? Then the boxing side, the Gizzy family in Rhyl, my Uncle Carl Gizzy went to distance to Joe Bugner, fought Jack Bandel, sparred with Muhammad Ali, you know what I mean? My Uncle Ronnie, who's passed now, he's an ABA champion. My Uncle Billy Gizzy, who's an ABA champion. So we're very sporty. We've got professional footballers, players, and Jason, my cousin Jason Fisk, he was playing for Arsenal and other places like that. And, you know, the godfather of my kids is Danny Coyne, he was Wales goalkeeper. Well, we're all around these sporty people and that, and we've got the entertainment side as well.
You probably heard this question a bit, but of all the characters that obviously you have played, which one would you like obviously play again if you had the chance to, but what like you need to have it for?
Play again if I had a chance to. Like I say, I'm a great believer in fate. What comes, I'm back on the path. But you know, it'd be great to be broken out of prison and play a Mason again in Green Street, you know what I mean? Or I'd maybe go back to being on Peter Pan and Pirates and stuff like that. But I do like to move forward and feel a new character, do you know what I mean? I do like to do that. But I don't know. They're all equal to me. They're all my friends, they're not me, you know what I mean? They never get to lonely in my head. There are over 50 characters now, so.
If you could work with any director, who would you work with?
Any director. I've worked with some really big directors now. Who would I work with? But you know what, it'd be good to coming off the question a little bit, but it'd be good to go back in time and like film with James Dean and stuff like that, Marilyn Monroe, you know what I mean? Go right back in time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boris Karloff, jump in him, you know what I mean? And play all that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I've worked with the Wachowskis, you know what I mean? I've worked with all the big names out there. But who knows what comes next? I can't wait to meet him or her. Yeah. Or it.
That's the great thing, because like you're saying about you've worked with these directors, and like, so I made a list actually, because I mean, obviously Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan was not Christopher Nolan as we know him now when he was doing Batman Begins. He obviously was trusted within Warner Brothers to recreate this franchise, reboot it, and he did it in probably the best way, because for me the Dark Knight trilogy is the greatest trilogy ever made. It's flawless. And then obviously, but before that, you also worked with Alfonso Cuarón,
yes,
who went on to obviously make Gravity and Roma, winning Oscars along the way. And then also a personal favourite of mine, going back to the Wolfman, Joe Johnston.
Yeah. Because
Joe Johnston, he made Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which for me in the early 90s was like the go-to movie to watch.
He's a great guy, just let me get on with it as well. He said on the internet, Sven did a really good job, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he appreciated my work as well, yeah. And when I got with Christopher Nolan, I remember the audition very, because I was very, very green. I was only the second show. The first audition was at the casting suite. Then the second audition, it was with Mr. Nolan. And he comes in, he goes, right, Sven, there's 10 guys in here. I'm looking, there's nobody in here. No, they're not in here. You use your imagination. There's 10 guys in here. I want you to fight them. Okay? And I'm very active kickboxing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? His chin was on the floor, what I did for 2 minutes.
Really?
You know what I mean? I'm the guys, they're all knocked down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These 10 guys have gone. So it was so fun. And he goes, you've got a job, bang. You know what I mean? I was like, great. But I didn't really get to do much of it on Batman Begins because it was, you know, it's the stunt world. Do you know what I mean? Very, very. And at the time, he said, well, moves weren't strong enough. I went, what? Moves weren't strong enough for the stunt guys. But I knew back then it's, you know, it's more work for the stunties. You know what I mean? And if anything did get specialised, then they bring the stunt crew in because they're, at the end of the day, they're the release. You know what I mean? Without stuntmen, no film would be taking place.
No, because I was going to say, because last year when Tarantino released Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, obviously the story is based around obviously an actor who is on the slide, but also his best friend who happens to be a stuntman. And when Brad Pitt even won an Oscar, and he said, you know, he was thanking the people that you would usually thank during, well, when winning an award such as like that. But he also shouted out to the stuntman. out there, because he was saying that basically that they don't get the credit they deserve, because there is no actual Oscar or award. And there might be...
There is awards over in America, but they should be equal, if not above actors.
Yeah, because they put themselves in danger, and also they embody this role.
There's some brilliant actors, stunt actors out there.
Yeah, it really, like I say, I think people do, don't appreciate the work that's put into the job of a stuntman. And I think when Tarantino made Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think that character really did bring it forward. And sort of people got to think a bit more about it, because, like I say, in your job, that is an important role for all movies.
Yeah.
Especially in the roles you've had.
Yeah, and I've been lucky, in the 50 shows I've done, I've lucky to been down as a stuntman.
Yeah.
But the stunt boys and girls, they train for 6 to 7 years to be elite in 6 arts, sports arts.
Okay.
And what they do is incredible. And I've got some very, very close friends who are stuntmen, and they're superhuman. But at the end of the day, they're human beings. I remember watching a Q&A the other day, and they were saying, people think stuntmen, they can fall on the floor. They don't hurt. They hurt.
Yeah.
They're just human, but they're very, very trained, specialised not to get hurt.
I can
Do you know what I
imagine,
mean? But accidents do happen. Bash myself up. I'm not a trained stunt guy. So when it looks really good, my stunts, because it's actually real.
Yeah.
When I fall over, I'm actually doing myself in. But no, it's all good.
Sam, did you?
Yeah, so you said you love doing stunts. And when you was a child, did you ever watch a film and saw a stunt and just was jaw dropped by it and kind of went, I want to do that?
Yeah, Fall Guy, man. Loved it. Yeah, that's all he is playing. Yeah, you know what I mean. I've actually met him on the Comic-Con circuit as well, so it's great. Lee Majors, man. It's just like what. So I've got to meet all these living legends, because obviously McCann has got a fan base, So I'd be flying all over the world to do these Comic-Cons all over the world. So I go to the big ones, the small ones. I go to all the schools and the talks and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I was doing all sorts of stunts when I was a kid, getting my BMX on top of the shed and just going, jumping off, holding an umbrella. No, don't work, Ben. But yeah, it's all stuff I used to do. But when kids, you bounce, don't you? So.
Yeah. Is there like any directors or actors who you haven't met that you really want to meet?
If I go back in time again, I would have loved to work on The Equalizer with Edward Woodward. He was one of my faves. Yeah, I'd love to have worked on things like Monkey Magic, and I'd like to have gone back to the Wizard of Oz and play the Lion or something like that. Just being one of them kids. Sort of spoke about it. I would have loved to work with James Dean and Marilyn Monroe and the legends that have passed now left us. Their films.
You said that you've on one of your Facebook lives that you've wanted to play a zombie and the Hulk.
Yeah, well, I haven't done them yet, and I've ticked off a lot of stuff now. So I nearly got very, very close to playing the Hulk, but I decided to use the stunt world more. Because obviously there's only so much you can do with the actor. If you're down as an actor, you've got more protection as such. You know what I mean? You can do more with the actor if he's down as a stunt guy. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, I got very close to getting the Hulk, because I can actually climb buildings and catch planes for real, no CGI there. But I haven't played a zombie yet. I've looked like a few. I haven't played one yet. I've played a pirate a few times on the Stardust, and I was very lucky enough to, the boss was Robert De Niro, Bob, so it was good to work with Bob. I was on Peter Pan, the new one called Pan, so played, and that was really good, because that's the first time I've ever been on a hot seat in front of 20 other actors. We all had to go on the hot seat, and we had to name our own character and tell them the relationship that they had with Blackbeard. So when you watch Pan, my character's called Growler, I named my character, and all of the pirates named their character as well. And we told the relationship with I had and how I met Blackbeard. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you got to create your own scenario and your own character for yourself. So how do you? So do you normally do that? Do you feel like...
First time I've ever done that, and I don't think it'll ever happen again. It was a complete one-off special job, So my character's called Growler. Have you seen Pan, the new one? Yeah, have you seen it? Do you like it? It's all right. It's nice, isn't it? So I'm sat in the seat now. Here's the camera's on me. So Tell us your relationship about Blackbeard. Right, okay, right. I was a bit of an naughty pirate. I killed my parents, ran off, lived in a cave, and I've got my gold there. Blackbeard brought his gold in. I knew where his gold was, so got me to respect. Now I'm one of his boys, but I know where his gold is. That was the relationship with Blackbeard as such. Arr!
So, like, knowing that you had to make that character up, but if you, like, just on the spot kind of made your own character, what type of character would it be? So, like, a zombie, a vampire?
My own character?
Yeah.
You know what I'd like? You know, like a Jason or a Freddy? Because I can do the dark stuff. I can do the funny stuff as well if that comes, you know what I mean? But I'd like to be a new sort of a Freddy Krueger, but a new, completely new name, you know what I mean, and bring him back. So in 30 years' time, he will turn into a Jason, this guy, or a Freddy, do you know what I mean? Because when Freddy come out, obviously he's more stronger 20, 30 years later, do you know what I mean, isn't he? Because he's cool, isn't it? Keeps him going. But I'd like something like that, yeah. I've got some sick thoughts going on for that character. No.
I think it'd be a smashing Jason Bourne.
I think
so.
so.
Yeah,
I think smash that.
Play that very
So
well.
if anybody's watching this, yeah. But I see. I'm not going nuts, but you know, but I see some of the characters that I will play or could play. You know, it'd be good to put the thoughts to paper one day and go, okay, we could get a really cool film here. You know what I mean? But you need that sort of special people. I'd like to do my own book one day as well, do you know what I mean? Because I've got that much going on in here, what I've actually experienced, but it needs that right sort of person to pull that out and understand that I can't do it myself, do you know what I mean, as such.
So, at the moment, the new Batman's being filmed, is in production, and you've been on Batman Begins. How are you excited to see the new
I'm a
film?
fan of Batman, yeah. I can't wait, I can't wait till it comes out, do you know what I mean? It's great. I've been watching some of the pictures, and it's a cheat from Gotham, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? From Chicago, and I've been on them buildings. When I filmed in Chicago on Jupiter Ascending with the Chowskis. So I've been up on them buildings up there, I've felt it, you know. And I'm looking, when I'm watching Batman standing there like that, and it's just, how cool is that? Batman's in Liverpool, man. You know what I mean? It's Liverpool, alright, mate. You know what I mean? Just watch you don't get your car robbed. You know what I mean? Press that button before you leave it. No, joking. You know what I mean?
So, Chad, do you want to say this?
Obviously you were in Victor Frankenstein,
Yes.
which is a good film, by the way. I very much enjoyed it. You played two roles, played Nathaniel and Prometheus, which is Frankenstein's monster. He's arguably only surpassed by Dracula in the Universal Monster world. What was it like having your name in the history books next to people like Boris Karloff, Robert De Niro, Christopher Lee, who people that played Frankenstein's monster?
Well, when you say it, it sounds a lot, you know, more excited. But no, it's incredible to be, you know, when I'm dead and gone, the kids will look through them books and there'll be names like Vader. There'll be only so many people play these characters.
Well, exactly,
And it's an honour that the grown-ups, the gods, the film gods have had you know, confidence in me to carry it going forward, do you know what I mean? But when I always knew I was going to play Frankenstein, another thing, like the Wolfman, I always had this feeling. So when I got the audition to play Frankenstein, to be in Frankenstein, when I got the audition, it was for Nathaniel, the strongman. I went, well, that's strange, because I thought I was going to play the monster. Okay, it must be I'm in a Frankenstein. So I auditioned for Nathaniel, right? They gave me 3 or 4 months to get trained up to build up, and he said, can you grow a beard? I said, I've never been past a week. Felt like I was giving birth out of my face after about the second week. I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Doing handstands to try and get into a pain. It was like, honestly, to grow a beard is mad, you know what I mean? You know. So after about 3 or 4 weeks, it started to grow. After 4 months or 3 months, they had this good thick beard, and they shaped it into the strongman task. Is in early 1800s strongman Nathaniel in the circus, you know what I mean? I was wearing leopard skin leotard, you know, and it was just, but they couldn't shave it off, so I had to wear that bad boy for about 2 months. I was walking around Rhyl going, oi! Like, what's that? Because it's a disguise, isn't it? You know what I mean? I said, there's a lot here. You know, you could hung kids off them. You know, it was proper.
It was a marvellous swing scene in the film.
And you can't help doing this. And what we're doing, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was great. But it was like, after about a week or two, the production rang me up. No, it wasn't a week or two. It was like 4 days or something. I left there on the Thursday. They rang me up on the Monday, and it was the second that rang me up, or the first AD. And he goes, "What it is, Spencer?" And I stopped him straight away. I said, "You want me to play Frankenstein, don't you? You're having problems, aren't you?" And he goes, "Now I'm on the third step coming out of production. How the hell do you know that?" Just had a feeling. I just knew. So he said, you know, because it was a hard character, it was a hard suit. The other performer was having a hard time. You know, especially if you're not used to this. Brilliant performer, great look, but unfortunately, it's going to take 2 people to play this guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, it would have killed him. So I was very lucky enough to play Nathaniel and you know, Prometheus. 2 credits on a Warner Brothers film. I worked with Dan 20 years before as such. And I was like, hi Dan, I don't know if you remember. He goes. I won't say what he said. He goes, "Hey Spencer, how are you doing? You know, I love you, and I love you too." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it was great. It was a charity show not so long ago. My brother-in-law, he does a lot for the London theatres. You know what I mean? Puts a lot of money into it and goes to all the charity shows. He's married to my sister, lovely Mark Phillips, a Jewish guy, and we've all got the Jews in our blood as well. And I got a phone call from my sister, and she goes, "Spen," I said, "Yeah." "I'm sat at a table, there's only 10 people on the table, and Daniel's on the table, Daniel Radcliffe, and he's with his security guard." I said, "Hey, Sam, say you're Spencer's brother. I say you're Spencer's sister." "Okay." And he goes, "You're Samantha! I know Spencer!" Well, and then that was it. They both went off talking for an hour, you know. It was a moment, you know, I love that. That's, you know, I just love it. He's a brilliant man. He's a beautiful soul. He's a brilliant businessman, brilliant actor. But at the end of the day, he's very grounded. He's a great soul, man.
He always comes across like that to earth guy.
Yeah, he's beautiful, man. He is who he is. He's gorgeous soul.
I'll pass it on to one of you. Sue, do you want to ask him?
So, what's next for you?
I'm just going to start getting me flyers out and window cleaning around. I'm quite looking forward to it. I've had them designed. One of my mates has designed them, called Fish. And it's a little bit different. I should have brought one with me. It's a little bit of a different design. You won't see flyers like this. You know what I mean? And everybody's got a lot of love for me in the town, and I've got a lot of love for the town, you know, and the people in it. And there's a printing place in town. They've done the leaflet for free, you know. And there's me sat on it was supposed to be a push bike, but my mates changed it to the you know, that goes through the forest in the Star Wars film. So I sat on one of them. I had to get I love real seagulls. I love seagulls. So I've got my seagulls sitting on the ladders. I've got the Death Star there. I've got the pantomime happy and sad face in the corner, because I'm very passionate about my films, and I don't want to just let that go, you know, for another thing. So I've got it on the flyers. So every time I see the flyers, don't forget who you are, Spen. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm on window cleaning, if that, we're, you know, I'm very grounded, but remember you've got another world going on as well. You know what I mean? So.
I wanted to mention, because last year you brought to, so obviously, like you said in previous question about Comic-Cons, obviously it's a worldwide thing now and they're more popular than ever. But last year you actually brought one, your own, to Prestatyn.
Dark Side Con.
I'm not sure about the other people with us, but Chad, I believe, went.
I took
myself.
It's all right, wasn't it? It's successful.
It was a fantastic day, and I just wondered, like, you know, when after COVID,
we're going to do another again.
Number 2.
Okay. Bigger and better.
Okay, cool.
Well, that room was full, so we're going to get a bigger building. And me and Stuart from the comic book store, it's so sad to see this.
Yeah, it's very sad it's shut.
So shut.
At least he's still got the shop in Chester though,
hasn't he? Yeah, but obviously it's a big piece of history, isn't it, Rhyl?
Of course it is.
I spent all my pocket money in that place.
Yeah, you did. And also I was wondering, like, because obviously, you know, as being born and bred Rhyl, you know, you are known, you know the characters in this town.
Yeah. But
would you one day maybe want to try and maybe find a story that can bring a film about the town?
Who knows? Maybe somebody will approach me for that one. I mean, but who knows? You know, I think there's a lot of beautiful towns, all the little towns around here. You know, North Walians, the Draggers. We've got some beautiful, very, very, very talented young kids. Yeah. And I just hope they get to live their dreams. Do you know what I mean? And because it's a shame if it gets kept inside and it waits for the next generation. because it's a very special place, Rhyl, the North Wales. You know, we've got a lot of good stuff coming out of us.
It's a shame that you're not, who was it, Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
Well, I am the patron of the castle.
Oh,
Yeah,
did not know that.
that's
There you
good.
go.
Can't wait to see that. It's going to be fun. You know what I mean? And it's so good for North Wales, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
good publicity.
Yeah, that'll get some more liquor paint on the walls. Get in there.
If there was a, sorry, did anyone else want
You run with it.
to, anyone?
You
I
can
was
carry on.
going to ask, so if we were to basically one day show a movie here that you have starred in,
Yeah.
one movie, which would it be?
One movie that had started, if you were to
Which
show
you
it here.
which you have starred in, yeah.
I can't, you know, I'd have to let the outside choose that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know sort of like, but what would your personal favourite be if you were to choose it
That'd
yourself?
be pretty cool if you had all of them there.
Okay, well, you can have a Spencer Wilding festival.
Well, you know what? There's enough characters there to fill a 2-hour show up, but you need a very clever editor, and it's good. You don't want it's just going to be boop boop boop. It's going to obviously do the editing this too much light and change the lights and blah 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 blah. But it'd be very clever if they could introduce a lot of the characters into a film.
I think it'd be quite good to do because Chad obviously does the horror shows with the Night of the Living Threads,
Yeah.
and I think it'd be really cool to have like a Wolfman, Victor Frankenstein double feature. I think that'd be pretty cool for a cinema like this.
Yeah, I remember when the guys come in for the Wolfman, and they had all the top magazines there from all over the world for the Wolfman, obviously because it's a Universal remake. Rick Baker's in there, and basically you had name some big horror comics.
Tales from the Crypt. Tales from
The big magazine.
The magazine Scream, Remorgue,
Yeah.
Fangoria,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Fangoria, they were all there.
Yeah.
There was about 20 people in this room, right? And they knew what was coming. The light went off, then all of a sudden the Wolfman was there, and I'm tuning on and on. I'm in full ghetto. And like, when the lights, they've seen it all before,
Yeah.
right? They've seen it all before. How the camera, how high we got?
All the way.
All the way up. So, right, anyway, so the light goes off and they're like, ooh, they're going to scare us, because they knew what was coming. It's a big press thing like that. So I'm like that. The light comes on and comes back on, and I'm chewing on an arm, right? And there's all these going like that, yeah, I'm not scared, and they're giving it all this. And this is without the cameras rolling. Obviously the little camera in there for their pictures and stuff. But I'm like that. And I'm like this in the mode, but in full go. And because when I get into the character, the Wolfman, he picks up on fear, so he's going to go for the person that's, because I'm just gone into that instincts of somebody's scared. And there's this big guy going, yeah, look at all the other press going, yeah, I'm not scared, but he was shitting himself, right? And I just went straight for him, right? And like that. So I'm there, tuning on, I'm just like, I'm just, I just want to rip his face off. And he's like, and I think he said it in the Van Gogh magazine or something like that. He generally was very scared. Yeah, you might have to bleep that word out. He was very scared, and he said, if I got that scared, just in a room, with no special lighting and on the film, what's it going to be like on the film? I thought The Wolfman was brilliant. I loved it. It did get slated a little bit, but I thought it was a great film. But when The Wolfman and Werewolf come out, it's like, wow, you know, it's good stuff, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Shows what Hollywood can do, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's amazing.
I think The Wolfman was a terrific remake.
Yeah, I think they're going to do another one as well. I'd love to have gone back into that makeup again. But
Yeah, I
How long
think
did it take the makeup? I don't think.
in the beginning, the test makeup was at 9 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I got off the chair twice. But I was like, looking in the mirror with all Rick Baker's creations coming through his makeups, and I was like, wow. We got it down to about 4 hours, I think. So, I was in the makeup chair at 1:30 a.m. on set for 8 o'clock. And that was, went on for, I had over 100 makeups from that film. Pretty impressive stuff, right?
Well, I'd like to thank you, Spencer, for the time you've given for all of us today. We really appreciate it, and we cannot wait to see the next film and the next chapter of your life.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see yours.
Well,
your chapters, just, you know, we're all equal here, mate, isn't it? It's, I mean, just keep it going, innit? Keep on smashing your dreams, innit?
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.